Hey, it's Karri Flatla here for this week's Friday Fire at Remax Real Estate Lethbridge and Karri Flatla and Associates. Sorry, I'm in my car, which I haven't done for a really long time, so this feels weird. I also haven't worn my hair down like this for a while, and it's doing weird stuff. Anyway, I just thought I'd do a really quick one today. I kind of want to do a bit of a survey, an opinion survey, so I'm super interested in what you guys have to say. Wow, I'm really disorganized. Look at that. There's my parking permit. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say about the real estate market and what you think is going to happen. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen, but I'd love to hear from you because it gives me a sense of the confidence or lack of confidence in the current market. So I've heard some people say, realtors included, that we're in this real estate bubble and prices are just going to drop like a stone when interest rates go up and the bubble bursts, and um, buyers are scared that they're overpaying for houses. A lot of fear in the market. And I don't think that fear is founded at all for Lethbridge. Now, I feel like I say this like a broken record, but what's happening in Toronto and Vancouver, like, if you're dealing in real estate in Lethbridge or really anywhere in Alberta for that matter, in 2022, it's spring, it's April. Um, who cares what's happening in Toronto and Vancouver, quite frankly? Sorry, guys, we love you, but your real estate has nothing to do with our real estate, except for the fact that a lot of your people are cashing out and buying beautiful homes here in Southern Alberta for a much more fair and realistic price. Interesting, right? So I don't think that there's a bubble in Southern Alberta real estate. I just don't. And some people are pointing to what happened in the last real estate bubble in the early 2000s. But again, I've pulled those numbers, and yes, prices doubled within like 5 years, I think it was. Prices doubled. And while they, quote, crashed in certain markets, in Lethbridge, there was no crash. Okay, that is not verifiable in any shape or form. Did some people overpay? Yes. Often because they didn't have a realtor. Sorry. Did prices correct in Lethbridge? A little bit, but there was no, so they go up like this till about 2008, and then they kind of went like that, just a little bit, and then leveled off. There was no up and then down. That did not happen in Lethbridge. If anyone can find a statistic proving me wrong, I'd love to see it, but I've looked at these numbers a million times over the last 10 years. We have the data on our MLS. So this time around, the fundamentals are different, okay? And Southern Alberta is a great place to put your money, and Lethbridge is an especially safe place to put your money because our economy here is both diversified and stable. We are not super dependent on commodity prices, especially oil and gas. That being said, when oil and gas is doing very well, the province of Alberta does very well, and it brings everything up, right? There's lots of spin-off from that. So that's one factor, and there's lots of unpredictability in the petroleum markets because of the war in Ukraine and all these other things. However, we have value added agriculture. We are at the hub of major agricultural production in Southern Alberta. We also have high public sector employment here, which tends to be very stable, well-paid employment for the most part. And we also have diversification in our economy. So there's a lot of built-in reinforcement to the foundation of our local economy. So when people say real estate's going to crash, we're in a bubble, we're going to overpay, it's wild, it's a disordered market, what are the fundamentals to support that statement? Because I'm seeing that we have all the fundamentals economically in Lethbridge to say real estate values will remain supported. Even if interest rates, say, go up 1 or 2%, we're starting from an extremely low base with interest rates. Will it kick some people out of the market? Yes. Will it kick a whole bunch of people out of the market who want to buy a home in Lethbridge? I don't think so. I just don't. And while we're seeing people pay over list price more often in Lethbridge now, they're not overpaying by 50 grand versus the list price. It might be 10 grand, maybe 20 grand. I've seen as high as 25 grand on a somewhat expensive home. Again, people coming from out of province, the extra 20 grand is a rounding error where they come from. So they just want to lock in the house because they know they're going to stay for 5 or 10 years. And so they have a different perspective about house prices. The fundamentals are here. The other thing is that while we're almost sure that interest rates are going to go up by 1 or 2 points again this year because the economy is overheated and inflation is now at 6.7%, something like a 30-year high. The Bank of Canada has also said it's going to be a delicate balance because if they are too aggressive in increasing interest rates, then there's the risk of creating a recession. And so you can overcool the economy and all of a sudden we have a recession. So I think the fundamentals are there for Alberta especially, which is leading the country in economic growth right now. But yes, we have to dial down borrowing and spending a little bit. Remember, Lethbridge has had almost no price increase over the last 10 or 15 years, okay? Like tracking inflation maybe, but very stagnant real estate values over the last 10 or 15 years. So now we're catching up. There was slack in the rope and we're catching up to where we should be. So is there going to be a crash in Alberta real estate, in Lethbridge real estate? I can't predict the future. There's always some unknowns, but I wouldn't be too worried. Make sure you have good representation when you're buying and selling. Make sure you're looking at the comparables, which are changing. The values are shifting. We are in flux. But this is still a super stable, safe place to put your real estate dollars. If you have any questions at all, you can call or text 382-7335 or look me up at karriflatla.com. Remember to like or subscribe to my channel on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you might be watching this. In the meantime, I think spring is finally here. It's not snowing. It's the end of April. So enjoy the weather this weekend and we'll see you for next Friday Fire. Take care.